You almost done over there? You almost done? Just- Necklaces are nice. Necklaces are nice. You guys are pretty excited about the keys. I get down and get some. We're supposed to get together and learn how to put together uh, certain fishing rigs. You know, for the type of fish that are down there. Oh, that'd be cool. You know, when you put trendy trading in, all this like other stuff comes up. It's interesting. On YouTube. Interesting. All right. So far, looks like we just have ES futures. I went ahead and just programmed ES and Nasdaq tonight, just to kind of keep it quiet. I can also alert on several different time frames. So right now, I'm just concentrating on a 5 minute and just kind of hanging out. It's been a long day, been a long week, but an amazing week. Honestly, it's been so good. Been really busy trying to keep everybody up to date, kind of, what we're doing and what it looks like uh, for our day-to-day life. Ashley and I woke up yesterday and we went to we paddleboarded yesterday right away, and then we were able to come back, jump on the Peloton, get a nice workout in, then head over to the beach, get some sun, then had a very nice dinner. And this morning we had brunch. What else did we do this morning, Ash? I said, what else did we do today? I'm trying to remember when we woke up this morning. We had coffee out on the dock, just kind of hung out and watched the fish and the birds, and we were talking about how hot it was already, right? the beach. We forgot the brunch was amazing though. Oh yeah, and tonight I made some masala and it was amazing. So anyway, so these alerts pretty straightforward. You can see here, just like our actual alerts, when I actually take a trade, you get the same format. So it comes straight from my API from Thinkorswim. And we like to use proof of concept is what I like to say. So everything's super transparent. It's straight from my brokerage account, not a paper trade account. And it gets to the room here in milliseconds, which is really, really nice. So there is no question, from our members. What price did I get? What time did I get in? None of that type of stuff. Everything's really transparent here. So it's very transparent when I lose too, right? You ever wonder, like, what's going to happen when you take a trade, right? I always tell everybody there's like two things that will happen. You'll hit your target and make some money, right? But it's never enough, right? It's never enough. It feels like no one's ever satisfied. So you'll be mad that you got out early, um, or you'll get stopped out, and then maybe price turns around on you and goes right back in the direction you want it to. Uh, One thing about trading that I've learned over a long period of time is that you need to really fully commit yourself and understand that you can't make things change. You can only manage the trade that you're actually in. So for example here, this trade is ES futures. And if you're going short off the signal here, I understand like where my stop is. I understand when this was alerted, which was right here at 43625, and it did go for profits, not by much, but we have techniques. So for example, I had several sell signals underneath the cloud tonight, and these all worked very good. So anyone that's like working from home, who's day trading, who's intraday trading, or who's you could consider 5-minute candles, obviously, like scalping. But this is a process. You could call it scalping, but it could turn into a very long trade in your favor. So even if you took a 5-minute signal, which I have one right here, you could see this trade worked out very, very well, all the way down into our target. So this target was given to the room this morning or yesterday. I'm trying to remember. But this is what we're looking for. And as I had sent out on Twitter there, the idea is that price is going to come into this level, and you want to trade levels, especially in this market right now. Anything that you're trying to speculate on just seems to really put a big dent in your PL. So whether you have trendy levels or you have some other sort of levels that you like to use, I would just really encourage you to wait on those levels and wait for price to get there. Try not to do anything. That's probably one of the biggest challenges. So what happens is you have a lot of traders who can't wait, who like to speculate. So for example, in this trade itself, I have a stop here and the alert went off. It tells me where to put the stop. And you don't take that trade unless you are comfortable with that risk. And if you're comfortable with the risk, then you have already told yourself that you're willing to lose that amount of money. So during this whole entire time frame, you should be taking the time to enjoy whatever it is that you like to do. Over here, I'm listening to some like chill mind, music that kind of helps me really focus. I love this stuff. Just depending on what kind of mood I'm in. So it's a little late here. It's 9:30 Central Time here in Florida. You'll notice down here, like on the times, this would be Central, right? Or actually, this would be Eastern. Sorry, this is Eastern Time that's coming up on here. All right, but here in Florida, we are on Central. Far as ES futures go, I personally, I like when my sell signals are underneath the cloud. Just some simple trading thoughts here. Anytime you're underneath the cloud, you want to basically stay short. Anytime we pop into the cloud is the better position to get short. So a lot of traders, unfortunately, we're teaching this over I was teaching this over our BMA segment today. I think I spent about 25 minutes on that. But one thing that I was telling traders is that if we happen to gap down tomorrow, you don't want to be trying to buy puts on a gap down. You want to be trying to buy puts when we actually push back up into your time frame that you like to trade. So, like in this case, in this hypothetical on a 5 minute, I don't want to be thinking about going short unless I'm pushing back up into that resistance. And most traders, they just have a hard time. So in hindsight, it's like really easy for me to sit here and tell you that, but for you to do it, and for most traders, they just really have a hard time. So try not to buy puts when you're already gapping down. Try to look for levels of support, and if those levels of support or those demand levels are close, then you're wanting to, try at that level to actually go long, and then your levels that you're concerned about when you're long are going to be the levels in this cloud. Okay, so again, this is my support. This is a target that I gave, Trendy Trading, our members here, before price gets there. That's important too. We want to set our traders up in advance. We're looking for price to come down here. We're looking for buyers to come in. You can see that they did come in. And then basically just kind of sideways, but no reason to get out of the trade from here. Your stops go in where you're comfortable underneath the level. And then as you're moving up towards the top of this cloud, you have to understand that this is resistance until proven otherwise. So somewhere in here, you need to be pulling up stops, you need to be taking profits and so forth. For right now, what's going on is that, again, we had a sell signal. You could see it came up here. This is a really slow one tonight. After the drop, we're just kind of digesting that drop. This is what we were looking for. Matter of fact, I was looking for a pullback tonight into demand levels and potentially a red to green scenario going into some bigger names reporting this week. Bigger names such as, let's look over here really quick. See if we could go over. I like to use Earning Whispers on Twitter. Get their schedule. We can see like tomorrow morning before open, one of my favorites, Bank of America, Charles Schwab. Netflix on Tuesday. We got Halliburton, Johnson & Johnson. Plenty of big names. Tesla on Wednesday, P&G, Snap Incorporated. Some airlines also coming into the picture. So should have a really good week. I know for myself, I had to set up some rules. I'm coming in with like hardly anything on. I have a leap short on the home builders, okay, ETF. So about 370 days out. Started my position there. I feel good about it. And then I have on some CCJ. Yeah. So just two positions coming into this week. So I feel really good about that. And far as futures, I always get a lot of questions. How often do I trade futures? I prefer to trade them as a hedge. So if for some reason I need to hedge my portfolio, if I'm net long and something were to happen, then I use my process. Just basically wait for my signals over here. I don't want to trade them out of boredom, because it's expensive to trade them. I want to, when I do trade them, I'm making sure that I'm always using a bracket. All right, that's just me. And that's what I like to teach, because the first the first time that you don't use a bracket, things can really go against you. So just depending on your size account, I think it's really important to use bracket trades. So all I mean by that is having a stop and a target. All right, let's go over here and check out the Nasdaq. So this thing is, I mean, it's still working. It's actually profitable. Excuse me, right now. And the stop, I went ahead and placed the stop. You could see the stop says 4365.25. The idea is that we want this to break down a little bit more. I'm going to put some of my edges on here. Let's see. Just go with that real quick. And my target for right now to scale out or to get out of a position would be 4359.5 if we can get down there. For traders who are already profitable, whatever, then you're looking to bring that stop down. Now, what I prefer is that we get another sell signal. And what will happen is this will pop up here and you want to bring that stop down to the next stop here. So we'll see how that works out. Let's go ahead and go over here to Nasdaq really quick. See what's going on there as well. All right, so the first one was a long, and I gave an example of that over here on Twitter. Then we had a short setup that came in as well. I like the long over the short, and the reason why I say that is because we came into a target, another target that I had given the room here. We reclaimed that target, and then we started to get buy signals off there, just like we planned, and price started pushing up. And once again, you got a sell signal here, and it did work, by the way. So if we come up here, not only did you get buy signals tonight, give me 1 second here. We got buy signals that worked. Once you brought the stop up to here, it got stopped out for profits. Let's see here, buy. Okay, no sell signal. Nope, just buys. All right, good. So everything looks good, matter of fact. Good. These are from last week. Rail and so forth. So far this target down here on Nasdaq's working really well. Got a bunch of different levels on here where we would trim out if we could break above. If you're using exponential moving average clouds, very important. I think these are the best clouds out there. Often get questions like, is this a Ichimoku cloud? It is not, just EMAs to help you stay in trend basically. So if you're shorting, you want to stay short underneath these clouds. I prefer, the problem is that most people that use these or any sort of system, they don't understand where buyers want to come in. So they're unable to identify demand levels, which are really important. And when you don't have that type of level, for example, you wouldn't know that this target here would actually work. You may be looking to press when you see this extension candle here down. But for us and for myself, we would know that, hey, we should find support here. And we talk about that constantly and kind of teach that. From this point on, just drifting sideways. You're making higher lows, that's a good thing, but bulls need a pivot high over this period right here at 13,772. And really, this trade itself, even though you're making money from the buy signal and it's pushing up, it's still unsafe until you can push through the cloud. So at any time, price, you could see it break back down below the cloud. Futures have this tendency to give hope to traders, especially in the morning. So they'll break down. When they do break down, they'll come into demand. They'll push up in the morning. Retail traders will get excited. Non-future traders get excited. And what they fail to realize is that a lot of times what they're doing is the future traders are trading the range while you're sleeping, right? So they tend to buy down at demand and they'll push it up into supply. A lot of traders would call this resistance. So you're opening up into resistance. And if you fail to understand that you're opening up into resistance, you're going to have a really bad day. All right. So, on the Nasdaq, if we were to move up and around, 13,830 in this area, I would be careful as this would definitely be resistance. But to you, you'd be super pumped because we've went red to green. But just be careful if we open up at resistance. Tomorrow, if we happen to open up down further than where we are right now, it's important that you have some sort of levels on your chart. So far, the first one has worked for us, once again, at this 13,740 and 3/4. And then below that, I would say max pain into this week. I could be totally off, but 13,630 for right now. And we do have higher time frame charts that we share here in the room. Matter of fact, my go-to are larger time frames, but we also don't want to miss trades during the intraday. So I could still feel like, hey, on the monthly or quarterly, the Nasdaq doesn't look great, but I don't want to miss out on a 2 to 3 day rally. So we have a lot of things in place at Trendy that help us jump on the right side of the trade. All right, so as I was showing you here, we have just the 5 minute signals going right now. Okay, jump back over here on ES, and I do love trading oil. Oil's up a little bit. We'll look at that here in a second. I just want to check out ES one more time. Same thing, just kind of sideways. Let's go ahead and check out oil really fast. And let's see, put together, let's go to a higher time frame really quick. There we go. I got some fibs on here. Take these off just so things look a little cleaner. There we go. All right, well, this was our blueprint. It's actually worked very well. Last week, I remember talking about we should see 110, and it looks like we're on our way to see that. Currently only up about 32 cents or so. I'm not going to turn on the alerts tonight for oil. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you something real quick. Let me get some water. Like, we've been out in the sun for like 2 days now. All right, so what do you want to take from this chart? All right, you can see that we have lower highs. Okay, we have lower highs here, and we have inside and down. So if you're a supply and demand trader, these things should pop out to you right away. All right, so understanding where supply is, and I could see that, but we want to identify it with trendy levels. So basically what you're looking at right now, you're going to take this resistance line. Now, see this wick over here? That's part of this structure. We're going to use that. You could say a target. So just understand we're trending up. And so even though this says resistance, this is a target. Our support actually comes in right around this cloud here on the daily, which is the old target. What was resistance becomes support idea, okay? Now notice that we have the next trendy edge right here. Now this is identifying. So again, if you know how to identify these levels, they could take a long time to go through all these different charts, try to put all that different stuff together. But, for our levels, they're already there, months, years, weeks in advance. So I don't need to really do anything because the different colors tell me what time frames we're finding these levels at, which make trading these levels a lot easier and keeps you from like having to go through each chart trying to figure out what's going on. But for right now, again, support's at the cloud. We're pushing up. This is the green box. We call this demand that we gave earlier in the room several weeks ago. Matter of fact, price ran out. We were looking for 125. I was pretty shocked that we got up here towards 130. We pulled back, but we came back into that level there. It worked very well for another push up towards 117, and then we came back again. Now, kind of like support, the more that we come back to this green box, I would be careful. If you're just getting bullish on the next attempt down here, it's probably not the right time. Several times coming into demand, I would expect it to get weaker, and at some point for it to pull back and come back to the 81 level. For right now, though, you just ride the trend. Every time it comes in the green box and reclaims these levels, we're looking for a push up. For right now, again, oil could see up towards 108.82. If we open up there for any possibility, you can see we're at 107.39. If we open up towards there, be careful. Wait for the reclaim, and we could see up towards 112.02 on oil, but I would expect it to break back down. So let me go ahead and show you. I'm gonna zoom in here. So you have these pivots, okay, right here, okay, and if you notice, if we were to move up into the trendy edge here, our next pivot would be, sorry, right there. So everything's pretty lined up nicely for this kind of move right there. All right, and then I would imagine it gets pretty tight in there and stays like that. Probably gets a little volatile, a little choppy next several weeks. So, all right, and so trendy levels, everything we do can be used on every single chart out there. All right, that's what makes it nice. See, I used to have. So for right now, again, let's go over here, check out ES one more time. You know, sometimes it's not that fun, right? It just kind of depends what's going on. But the alerts are working really great tonight. What are some things you need to look out for? You know, is mindset. Like understanding one thing that I teach, and it's been like this for many, many years, and I will not go away from it, is what is the number one thing we don't do, Ashley? Talking to my wife. She's over here doing some artwork. I know you guys can't see her, but I said, what is the one thing that we do not do at Trendy, right? What is the one thing that we don't do in the house? Watch news, right? So like news, we don't like I won't watch it. My kids don't watch it. We don't watch it, and I could tell you over many, many years, it's just absolutely bad for you. You know, if you want to be a trader, you have to put down the news. I'm telling. Can you trade off the news? Sure, if you have a system. But the problem with news is that you form a thesis in your head and it's hard to let go. It kind of reminds me of this last trade that I took. And I love being transparent because I could teach you guys things not to do, right? Um, so there's this trade that I took and it was Pinterest, right? And I thought, hey, well, maybe these guys might get bought out, right? And it was speculation, you know. And in my head, I kept thinking like, well, it's a great time for these guys to get bought out, right? I mean, prices getting lower. There's some talk about it, yada yada, and it's hard to let go, right? It's hard to let go. You start to build some sort of idea in your mind, and what happens is when you listen to the talking heads and so forth, they create this whole entire story that is very difficult for you to let go. And what happens, whether you think you're strong enough or not, it will keep you from executing trades, or you'll execute a trade based on the information that is literally in the back of your head. So you have to be really careful. So just remember that. So one thing we like to teach is any kind of level that you have on the chart. Um, News is a catalyst that pushes price to your level. And if you could say that and truly believe in it, you don't need the news. See, the levels are already there. You just, in some cases, price is going to move to your levels, and a catalyst or a news event is actually just going to uh, help you get there sooner. Okay, that's it. All right, so we just got another NQ sell signal here, but again, for me, it depends on where we are on the chart itself. All right, so I prefer to be underneath the cloud. In the cloud, you get choppy. All right, you get choppy conditions. All right, so over here, let's go ahead and take a look here. Yeah, there's nothing going on here, so I don't want to touch any of this. Let's see, let's go to a 5 minute here. Oh. So we got the 3 minute. Sorry guys, talking to one of my buddies. Actually, my programmer. Hopefully you guys had a good day, good weekend. What some of you guys did. Nice inside candle on the 4 hour, guys. So basically, you can see here on a bigger time frame. This is what I'd love to see, and this is exactly what we talked about for tomorrow. Is gap down into some demand. The 4 hours starting to go inside. That's what we want to see on the bull side. You want to see this level hold, and the divergence that's being created is between the cloud and this level that I gave. So basically what I mean is your resistance is all the way up here. What you don't want to happen is overnight they move too much of that, right? That means when retail opens up in the morning and we get to trade, right? For you guys that don't trade futures, you're basically, let me give you an example here. Let's show you really quick. So this is your resistance. Let's just say that. You could also say this line here. This is your support. You don't want the futures to push up into this area, because what happens is that you open at resistance and you only have about this much room to move. So you're left with this really tight range, and if you don't know how to identify that, you're going to have a really crappy day. So right now, we just want our support level to hold, and we don't want it to move up too much. We just want it to hang out here. All right. So that's the thing on NQ. Let's go ahead and look at ES really quick on the 4 hour as well. And then we'll call it a day, and we'll see you guys in the morning. There we go. So there we are inside. Look at that level. Absolutely stunning. Both of these levels I gave these guys before the market opened. And I also said this was our expected range. And you can see that it held really well. So things are looking really good. Remember, we have a lot of divergence here on the 4 hour, which tells me as an intraday trader, if you're coming in, you're just looking for quick money, we have a lot of room to work with here. Again, we don't want prices to move up too far, and we want this support level to hold, and that's for the bulls. For the bears, if you open up towards these clouds for some reason overnight, or these upper levels that I have on my screen, then sure, this is where I'd be looking at putting some puts on. One major thing that you need to take into consideration as well is that we have earnings season coming up. We basically made a bunch of range, and that range is a playing field for us to get started for trading for this week. And it's looking really good, guys. So, here it is. It's 10 o'clock at night. I need to get to bed. I'll be up early. See you guys 30 minutes before open. We'll be on the charts and going over some of our stuff that we're looking for to trading. So thank you again. Have a good night, and we'll see you soon.